Good morning, church family. I'm Rebecca. I'm one of the leaders of the pre-K and kindergarten class, and I just wanted to go over the Bible lesson for today. It is out of Acts 10. If you got your activity page from the white bags, then the story is here out of Acts 10, or you could read through Acts 10 with your child. It's about Cornelius, and some things to go with this lesson. You could point out to your child on a Bible map Caesarea and Joppa, the places where we are talking about with this story. You could ask them some questions after you go over the story to review it with them. You can ask them who were the two people in the story who heard from God, and what did Peter tell Cornelius, and remind them that all people need to know about Jesus. You could review the unit verse if you made up motions with your child beginning of the month with the unit verse. For this unit, it was Mark 16:15, go and tell the good news about Jesus, so you could review that with them. Hopefully they've memorized that by now. And the weekly verse for today is 1 John 4:14. We tell that God sent his son for all the world. So you could work on memorizing it with them. You can make a song out of it, or you could print it out and make it into a puzzle. Practice putting it together. You could write each word on a different card and practice sorting them in order, see if they can put it back in the correct order. Another thing you could do with this, when we're talking about going and telling the world about Jesus, you could maybe trace your child's feet and then have them write the verse or copy the verse onto their feet, and they could hang that up somewhere to remind them to go and tell the good news. The life point to emphasize today is that all people need to know about Jesus. So you can emphasize that point and everything you're talking about with them and going through. So you can talk about missionaries, and that missionaries go and tell people about God and Jesus in my country and in other countries. And so you can emphasize that missionaries are abroad and at home, that they can be a missionary where they are. It doesn't have to just be going into other parts of the world. You could spend some time praying for some missionaries. If you've looked up any missionaries or you know any missionaries, specifically, you could pray for some missionaries to specific countries. So you do that. Another idea is that you could cut out blue and green tissue paper, and if you have a clear plastic plate, make a sun catcher that looks like the world. And so you can use glue and put green and blue for the sea and the land to make a sun catcher that looks like the world, and then you could put it up on one of your windows, and to remind them about going and telling the world about Jesus. Another thing you could do is talk about missionaries. They go and they build churches and orphanages and things like that sometimes, so they could use building blocks or tangrams or something else that you may have to build churches, and you can talk about that while they do that. Or they could also role play that they're doctors or nurses and talk about how some people use those avenues to go as missionaries to other countries where people need healing. And then you could also do, of course, the coloring page. So your coloring page for this week should look like this. And then there's an activity page on the back of this that you can work through with your child. So I hope y'all are having a wonderful day, and we hope that we get to see you at church today. And y'all have a wonderful week.